Hey, welcome to the Card Kingdom Legacy stream. My name is Greg Mitchell, and I'm joined here with Mike Kiesel.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good. So we have a couple of big things in the works. We have a vintage tournament coming up on December 12th.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for that.
I am ready to battle.
Yeah, me too.
I have no idea what I'm battling with yet, but I'm ready to battle.
Hell yeah. So this is super hype. So we've got an actual piece of power for first place. Second place is a Bazaar of Baghdad, and we've got third and fourth with Mana Drains. Fifth through eighth is $80 credit. This is $50 entry. I'm expecting about 30 people to show up. What do you think?
That sounds about right. I think we're going to get, I know at least some people from Spokane and Portland are planning on coming out. Hopefully we can get some Vancouver crew.
Yeah, I
well.
hope so. So I know that Tim Stone and all 7 of his decks are probably going to be coming down here. I'm hoping that my 3 decks are going to be used.
Yeah.
I know you've got a couple.
Yeah, I have a couple. Hopefully my Dredge doesn't get used because I don't want to play against another Dredge.
Dredge is fun for the vintage community and everyone as a whole, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mulliganing's a community building activity.
Sure, yeah. At least their rounds can go to time.
Yeah. Well, I digress. So we've got Vintage coming up, and then on December 19th, Card Kingdom is starting its Legacy 1K series. So they're titling these the Legacy Preservation Series. We'll see if they continue with that name, but it's. I'm very excited to see this. It's a 1K event that's going to be monthly. It's $25 entry, 1K store credit payout.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I can't wait to play in a ton of those.
Yeah, no kidding.
Between like Legacy and Vintage and like monthly Pauper, like they're doing several Pauper events. There's just a ton of Magic going on the weekends now.
Yeah, no kidding. Card Kingdom is really stepping up its organized tournament game. We're pretty happy to be representing Card Kingdom here on stream for you guys, so you can see some sweet formats.
Yeah.
So of course we've got Legacy tonight. We're just gearing up.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a good match for us now.
So it looks like a bit of a small tournament today. Only 24 players, 23 players.
26. Are you playing?
26 players.
Okay.
Speaking of,
Hold on, we might have a repair because Sean Lord of the Pit is Lord of the Late.
yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't think of a good.
So what do you think about these Star City results this past weekend?
Miracles, miracles, and more miracles.
Yeah, really. Hashtag ban top. What do you think? Ban top 2015, 2016?
But I like Top so much.
It's so annoying.
It's so much fun. Look at the top 3.
I don't know, man. I can't do it.
I don't know. It's not so. So it had a good day 2. How many people were in the tournament in total? Anyway.
5. I want to say low 500s.
Okay, low 500s, and 23 of the 121 were miracles that made day 2.
So a fifth.
A fifth. Yeah.
Wow, that is a huge proportion of players. And I know Grixis Delver placed 3 in the top 32, I believe. Or top 32.
Yeah.
With only 2 other Delver decks. So 5 out of the top 32, which is much less Delver penetration than I would have expected.
Well, there was 13 Grixis, and there was 5 of each Rug and Bug. And then I think there was
day 2?
In day 2, and I think there's 2 like blue red.
So that's about proportional to, I guess, their placement in day 2.
Yeah, I mean, the 23 Miracles decks at day 2, almost 50% of them.
Wow,
top
that
32.
is a really good conversion rate.
Yeah.
So
11 out of 23 made top 32.
I've got to say, like, Miracles has seemed like the best deck to me for a while. I think it is totally legitimate to play a bunch of other decks. The differences in percentages are small. I think it's on the order of 5 to 10% across the board. But Miracles gives good players a way to leverage their skill, and I think it across the board has a bigger edge than any other deck.
That's true.
Unfortunately, I'm not a huge fan of Miracles. I think it's annoying to play with, annoying to play against. But you've got to give those control mages a bone. Not everyone likes casting Stoneforge Mystic and putting Batterskull into play. Not everyone likes storming out like I do.
Yeah, I mean, what would happen?
I don't care. All I want to do is
Do we want to do this?
Yeah,
It's the
sounds fine.
mirror.
No. No. We are not doing the Allure mirror. You're a bad man.
I tried, guys.
What about this? Monks versus... So that's Painter versus Goblins?
It's either Painter versus Goblin. He also plays a Grixis Delver a lot. I think.
Either way, that sounds sweet.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're going to get a matchup with Josh Monks, our perennial commentator on this stream,
Yes.
versus Ian Hathaway. He usually plays Strawberry Shortcake, which is red-white Painter. But he could also be playing, you said...
He plays a lot of Grixis Delver too. I played the last 2 times I played against him. It was against Grixis Delver.
Okay, that sounds good. So either way, I think we have a pretty cool matchup.
Yeah.
I know I've got my accumulated knowledge deck on loan for this event, so we'll
that's
see if
a
he
pile.
does well. Yeah,
a pile.
I agree, it's a pile. I
Yeah.
don't think it's very good, but you know, I'm always a fan of accumulated knowledge. I want to see some get cast. What about you?
Yeah, if more were being cast, it would be a lot better.
Yeah, sure. Accumulated knowledge does track every copy of accumulated knowledge in all graveyards. Sort of like Rite of Flame, I guess, is the only other card that you might know, or that is more commonly played.
Oh, it tracks all of them?
Rite of Flame does,
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. 'Cause I've never seen the test smear.
I played TES against Goblin Charbelcher, and I cast... So, Goblin Charbelcher went off and made a pile of Goblin tokens, and then I went off on the next turn, and I made, I want to say, 13 mana with 1 ritual, something like that. It was totally absurd. I think he cast 3 rituals, and I cast 4 by the end of the game. It was nuts.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
It was... So, I won that game with Grave Shot. You know, just to teach him manners. If he's going to play Goblin Charbelcher, I have no remorse about showboating to Grave Shot him out.
So it does look like it is Grixis versus Goblins.
Sweet. So that's going to be a cool matchup.
It's Grixis Pyromancer. I'm wondering if that's Delver or not. Maybe it's not Delver.
Are
would
there
be
any
super-
other Grixis decks that actually see much play?
No.
So, I respect Delver.
Yeah. Okay.
I know that you had played Agrolome, and you've played a lot of lands.
Yeah.
So, what do you think
bet.
about Agrolome winning this tournament over lands?
I don't know. I only played it once at one tournament. I went 2-2 here. I was playing. It felt very underpowered
Okay.
in playing it. It felt like when you lost the die roll, even when you won the die roll, you really wanted Mox Diamond turn 1. Really need to get ahead. Rome itself felt awful in the deck.
Oh, I guess we should clarify for people who don't necessarily
Punishing
look at every deck list. The Agrolome deck we're talking about is what Star City strangely calls Punishing Abzan,
Yes.
which I think is a terrible name.
It's a very bad name.
But it's a Mox Diamond Chalice Knight of the Reliquary deck that plays Punishing Fire and
Sylvan Library and Nether Reliquary and Dark Confidant,
yeah, so that
Abrupt Decay. It's basically an anti-Miracles deck almost, but also is really good against Delver. The theory behind it is that it's lands but doesn't have a terrible combo matchup.
okay. Yeah, we saw that deck power through 2 good Storm opponents in the finals and semifinals of the Star City.
I mean, it's still not a favorable combo matchup, I'd say, but it has more game than lands.
They have
Lands
a
is-
pile of hate bears.
Yeah, they have a pile of hate bears. They have discard. Maybe like Gaddock Teague. Chalice is good too.
I know from personal experience that it's a scary matchup. I played Jeff Hoagland in my first Star City top 8. I was playing Storm and he was playing one of the earlier versions of this deck. And yeah, Chalice on 1 is a real problem, especially powered out by Mox Diamond.
Josh looks like he has a really sweet hand.
So I have trouble distinguishing all those goblins. It looks like he has a couple ringleaders and only 1 land.
No,
Or
he
is
has
it-
one land. He has 2 lackeys.
Oh.
He has a ringleader, a war chief, and the Gem Palm Incinerator.
So that's going to be very good against this Grixis Pyromancer deck. Gem Palm Incinerator draws a card and deals with one of those pesky creatures like Pyromancer.
I mean, and the double lackey is all you can hope for in this deck.
Yeah, for sure. Now, do you think Ian is playing Pyromancer Ascension when he calls it Grixis Pyromancer?
It could be.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
We don't get to see too much of that in Legacy.
Oh, and Josh is on the play too. Yeah. This
Oh,
is,
wow. Yeah, this is going to be a tough...
And the best thing here is if Ian has like a Deathrite Shaman, something like that. He has a young Pyromancer, and
Right, so right now Ian is looking for a way to either deal with that lackey or put a blocker into play. Now, if he puts a blocker into play, Josh does have that sharpshooter to shoot it down.
Gem Palm Incinerator.
Sorry, Gem Palm. Is
The-
this
the sh-
your Goblins deck?
Yes, but it's different from last week's because I did cut the sharpshooter for the Grenzo
Oh boy.
in the black splash.
Now, can you remind me what Grenzo does?
It is black, red, X. And when it enters the battlefield, put X +1/+1 counters on it. And it's a 2/2, and you can activate it for 2 colorless to take the bottom card of your library and put it into your graveyard. And if it is a creature with power less than or equal to Grenzo, put it into play.
Well, that sounds like a good way to grind out games.
It's actually a little bit of a nombo with Goblin Ringleader,
Weird.
because Goblin Ringleader puts all the non-goblins on the
Oh.
bottom of your library.
Sure, I see that.
But I think at that point, if you're resolving Goblin Ringleader, you're good.
Yeah, speaking of grinding out games, we've got Siege Gang Commander, which is a good way to turn all your excess mana into shocks.
Oh, here's a shock.
Or instead, you could just lackey it into play turn 2 like Josh Monks did.
Yeah.
So that Goblin Lackey basically is netting 4 mana and a point of damage. That's not bad.
Yeah.
So Josh EOT throws one of the goblins using Siege Gang Commander's ability at the young Pyromancer. Ian doesn't get any value out of this Pyromancer. No tokens left on board.
No.
He is really far behind in this game.
Yeah.
How do you think Ian catches up? Do you think he has any sweepers?
If there's like a Fork Bolt, I can see that at least starting to stem the tide of these goblins.
Well, that's going to be tough with this ringleader.
Yeah.
Providing more.
Well, not if it whips.
Oh! What is that?
Not if it
That
whips.
doesn't happen very often.
No, it.
That's the worst ringleader I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
So I like Josh's play of Aethervile and Wasteland. Although, yeah, I would
Yeah.
definitely get the colored source.
Yeah.
So he has such a huge mana advantage between Aethervile and Goblin Lackey. He is perfectly happy to trade off his resources with Ian.
Yeah.
Ian's way behind on board, which is exactly the point at which you want to be trading resources with your opponent.
Yes.
So a lot of times I'll see players like trade Wastelands or like Wasteland the opponent when the opponent is ahead on board. Don't do that. You should only be trading resources when you're ahead, because that'll help you keep further ahead.
Monks looks pretty mana screwed here.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to feel sorry for him though.
Yes.
Despite having bad luck with lands and Ringleader, I mean,
Yeah.
what is he gonna do?
No, he's gonna attack and get rid of the Delver and then hit him for 5.
Right, so he's putting Ian on a 2-turn clock.
Well, he has the lackey in hand, so unless Ian has a creature in play, okay. Well, there's something.
Grimag's not bad. Josh is going to be able to
End of turn, Vile that.
to put Ian at 1, and then if he draws a land, he's going to be able to
there's the Grenzo.
throw a goblin at Ian for lethal. Unfortunately, neither of those things happen, but still, putting his opponent at 1 is a good place to be. I'm not sure that there's any follow-up that Ian
No.
can have this far behind.
And this way, too, he can get a War Chief in play
Yeah.
and play out, like, the War Marshal or something.
Yeah, I think I would have put the War Chief in play. It gives you, more bang for your buck. But this is fine too. It allows you to just put more permanents in play, and we see Ian scooping it up here.
Well, no, he could have put more permanents in play by putting in the War Chief and then casting the War Marshal.
Oh, good point.
Because the War Marshal would have only cost 1 at that point.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, we see the Grenzo. We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
That is a sweet playmat that Josh has, isn't it?
Yep. Bob Bolt. Josh is up 1. Yeah. So let's see if Josh can also dodge all the unfair decks, like I did, in style.
How bad is the unfair matchup?
It depends. So you see, there's a lot of red blasts. There's 4 Thalias in the board.
Okay. What sort of graveyard hate?
Relics. I think 3 relics.
But still, it's an unfavorable matchup.
I mean, I think so. I mean, you're relying on 1 hate bear,
Yeah,
which decks just have ways to answer these days.
it's a good point. So he's bringing in Pyrokinesis and Relic of Progenitus. Ian is boarding out Force Wills, but I don't think Ian has decided what to bring in yet.
Yeah.
I definitely don't like Force Will. Although if you force an Aethervile, it can stunt Goblins pretty badly. Goblins is a pretty high curve deck. It wants to use its lands for mana disruption. So if you're tying up their mana to be casting spells,
Yeah.
that definitely puts a cog in their mana denial plan. spanner in the works, as it were.
So he's just bringing in some discard, it looks like.
Discard is usually pretty good against Aether Vial decks, although I'm not sure if you can actually fight the Ringleader card advantage with discard.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's probably not that many options.
Ian is passing over Null Rod, which I find very surprising. I would like Null Rod in this matchup. One of the ways that Force Will loses... So, normally Force Will is fine to force turn 1 Aether Vial. But if Josh just has a bunch of Aether Vials and not too many creatures, forcing an Aether Vial turns out to be pretty bad, because he can just play one in turn 2. But Null Rod turns them off forever.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like Josh was expecting... Like, I feel like against like Death and Taxes or something, you probably don't... No, you probably still would want the Aether Vial removal in that deck, too. Like,
Null Rod's super good against Death and Taxes, because it shuts off all their equipment, too.
Oh, that's true. I mean, I guess the theory is without the equipment, you're not shutting off as much, but I think, like, Goblins is much more of an Aether Vial deck than Death and Taxes is.
It is, that's true. Goblins has a much higher curve than Death and Taxes.
Yes. Maybe he has just, like... Because those decks often play, like a Ancient Grudge or something, where maybe there's, like, a... Maybe you brought in that.
I could see that. Grudge is a good card against Aether Vial as well.
Yeah.
So, what do you think this matchup comes down to? On Josh's side, I think it's, what, Lackey and Vial? Do you think it's just a combo, sort of?
Yeah, I can see that. Just getting out ahead, just putting out more permanents than Ian can deal with, and just win on the ground front.
Okay.
I think Ian probably wins here by getting an early Delver and then just clogging up the board with Young Pyromancer tokens.
Okay, that makes some sense to me. Then what about Goblins like Mana Disruption? Do you think it's particularly effective against a Deathrite deck?
Yeah, so I guess that's the other important thing is that... Well, no, so there is, 3 Tarfires in Josh's deck?
Are there?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
And now he has the Pyrokinesis and I want to say 3 Gem Palm Incinerators?
Okay, that's a lot of creature removal.
Yes. I'm actually not... Like, the Pyrokinesis is good, but it might have been unnecessary, to be honest.
Sure, you already should be favored against all the creature decks.
Yeah.
Maybe it's necessary for elves, I could see.
Yeah. Or something like Red Blast might be... I don't know. Would Red Blast be good from the Goblin side to, like, take care of the flyer?
I don't think so. I don't think you care about the blue cards except for Delver.
Okay.
Yeah, like my image of how this post-board matchup goes is Josh is either trying to get out under with the combo or just like grind him out by disrupting the rather fragile 4-color mana base and then destroying a bunch of cards with the War Leader and War Chief and Ringleader combination.
Yeah, I can see that. And just you have a ton of removal to deal with, the flyer, and then you can just gum up the boards.
Yeah, so it could be a pretty draw-dependent matchup as far as who is the control in this matchup.
Yeah. Josh is not playing a ton of basics too. So oh jeez. Okay, never mind.
Wow, look at that hand. So he's got Wasteland, Rishadan Port, Lackey, Tarfire. Is that right?
Yep. That is. Yeah, that's a good hand.
Yeah, so it powers through one piece of removal. It powers through a Deathrite Shaman. This is a strong opener.
Is this a blind? Oh no, it's a Deathrite. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so Deathrite you're never excited to see. Now, do you think you kill the Deathrite just to stunt his opponent's mana? Or next turn you could have a pretty sick turn of like Wasteland
I would
plus...
resolve Lackey. I think Ian's ability, he's not going to be able to really ramp much with the Deathrite because he has to hold it back to block.
Okay, that makes sense.
And you're like, if he has like a Daze or something for Lackey, he's less likely to fire that off when he has a blocker. Where if you kill it, he might be tempted to counter the Lackey if he doesn't have it.
I'm pretty sure I would Daze Lackey any day.
Sure.
So Ian is playing he deployed a couple of powerful 1-drops. This is exactly the sort of opener you want to see. Just being able to get your cards on the board before your opponent can.
Yeah.
One of the huge advantages of a low curve deck like Delver.
And one of the problems with the Lackey... Oh, there's an Aether Vial. Okay. This is...
Yeah, so I like his sequencing. Now I would expect Ian to trade with Lackey given the choice with his Delver. What do you think?
Well, he has a Bolt in hand, so I don't think that's happening.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the hypothetical situation that Ian didn't have a Bolt, would you trade Delver for Lackey?
I think you would.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Now, it turns out Josh doesn't have a whole lot in hand, but in the off chance that he did, it would be pretty bad.
Okay, so
for
I'm
Lackey to get
assuming
through.
floating red and Bolt.
Yep. So, given that you're behind on board, I like playing that Aether Vial there. You have a lot of high curve cards in your hand.
He only has War Chief in hand, really.
Doesn't he also have...
That's another Lackey.
Oh, Yep. Okay.
But he doesn't have choice because he only has one colored source.
Okay.
And the Cabal Therapy.
With 2 lands on board and not having missed a land drop, it's a little ambitious to start trying to deny his opponent's mana here.
Yeah.
And he has port to start doing some work on his opponent's mana base next turn if he does choose to do that. I would expect to see Josh play War Chief here, right?
He can't yet. It's cost double red.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
My ignorance of the Goblins deck shows.
Yeah. Otherwise, they would be able to decrease their own mana cost too much.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It would be too good of a combo.
Oh, he now can play it
Why is that?
because he drew a fetch land.
Oh, I didn't see it. Oh, does Ian have the draw step Vendilion Click? That's a pretty nice combo with that Cabal Therapy he revealed to Delver.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that's what it is.
Okay.
Target. Okay, I think this is a pretty easy choice.
Do you have Violin Lackey actually in response?
No, because I wouldn't expect Ian to take Lackey.
Okay.
And if you're afraid of Lackey, you can just leave Delver on defense.
Sure.
Yeah, I think Ian was totally correct in taking that card. You get a glimpse of what he drew?
So he wastes the. What do you waste here? Do you waste the wasteland or you?
So I think you actually waste the Underground Sea because you know your opponent has a black card in hand.
Well, no, he.
Oh, okay, this is even better, right? So his opponent's black cards are all sorcery speed. He is Gurmag Angler, which will pretty much stonewall his offense, and Cabal Therapy, which is a sorcery. Whereas
Sure,
the
but
red spells are...
he only gets to do this once.
That's true. I'm more afraid of the black spells, especially given there is a Cabal Therapy in hand. But I think Josh's line is defensible.
Yeah. This is a huge clock, though, coming in for 6.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Okay,
Air
Drew.
Force is here. What is that card?
I think he has a Ringleader in hand. Or no, a Cranko.
Oh, that can get out of hand pretty quick.
Yeah, it's going to take a few more goblins.
Yeah.
He really needs to draw like a Tarfire. He can't draw Pyrokinesis. Okay, Brainstorm in response on upkeep.
Tarfire would definitely be a good draw here.
Yeah.
What else would be a good draw?
Gem Palm Incinerator would be.
Okay. Ringleader is always good.
He's a few turns away from Ringleader, so I'd rather actually, if you want to get ahead on, try to ramp ahead, like a War Marshal would be a good draw.
If you draw Ringleader, he can just attack and flag it into play.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so Josh is, he's on a 1-turn clock. If he draws Starfire, then, or Ringleader...
Oh, no, that's perfect. That's perfect.
That's great.
Because you can tutor for a Tarfire.
Yeah, for sure. Or Gem Palm Incinerator, which even gets around days.
Yes. Oh.
Oh, wow! Oh,
No.
that's brutal.
Not really. He can still get it into play with Lackey.
Yeah, okay. So it would have been... That would have been even worse if he did get Gem Palm Incinerator and Ian stifled the Incinerator's cycle trigger.
Yes.
I think
Yeah,
it's got to be Incinerator, right?
it's got to be. It's just better.
Yeah, it draws a card. It's immune to Daze or Force of Will. His opponent is tapped out of cycle.
His opponent would have to double daze.
Sorry?
It would have to be double daze because Tarfire is only 1 red. But yeah, Incinerator is immune
Probably
to
the
everything.
best. Yeah, for
it's
sure.
only stifleable.
Right, so Josh should definitely fire it off now.
Yes.
He can hit a land, which you might want to put in play. Wasteland would be pretty good here, actually. Prevent his opponent from casting any spells to get further ahead.
Wow, that was a timely top deck with Matron.
Yeah, no kidding. And now he's still in the back.
He can't.
It's not a spell that you
It's
can
not.
daze.
It's not a spell.
So there's no legal target for daze.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, it's a strange ability.
The cycling.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you see what he drew?
I didn't know.
Okay.
I definitely would not crack that fetch land here.
Yep. It's still game 2. Okay, the end of turn, put in 3 goblins.
So he's got 1, 2, 3. Krenko's a 3/3, I believe.
Yeah, Krenko's a 3/3. And he's at 16.
So he can put Ian on a 2-turn
Oh.
clock. Oh, look at that! All right, Ian's on a 2-turn clock.
Oh my god. This
Even better.
might
Wow.
be lethal.
So here we see the combo of War Chief plus Krenko. That is potent. Why did he draw a card there?
Why did he draw a card there?
Didn't he draw Incinerator for turn?
Yeah.
And he drew...
So he cycled during the upkeep, drew for his turn.
Oh,
How did he have the Incinerator in hand?
yeah.
Wow. Okay, that was a quick match.
Yeah.
So-
Wait, so that's he had what,
1, 2, 3...
7? So he had Lackey, War
He had
Chief.
lethal.
Was that lethal?
Yeah, so he had 7 goblins. He had...
So he had,
He had 6
3
power.
tokens. He had 3 tokens: the Krenko, the War Chief, the Lackey, and the Matron.
Right.
And so he could activate Krenko again to make 7 more goblins. So then he had 10 just in tokens. The 2 from War Chief plus the 1 from Lackey.
Wow. Wow, what a combo kill. And
So that's 13, 14. He would have been at 2, right?
was he at 16?
Yeah, he was at 16.
Okay. So
It
I
wasn't
guess,
lethal because he has to tap the Krenko.
fair enough. Yeah, I mismathed.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to see if we can get a second match on camera for you guys. That was fast.
Oh, we didn't see what he drew off the Incinerator. Maybe that's how maybe he Incinerated into Incinerator and then upkeep Incinerated.
Yes, so that's probably what happened.
Yes.
Why do you think he would upkeep Incinerator? Oh, for Vile. I like that play.
Yes.
He wanted to see if he should keep Vile on 2.
On 3 or
on
take
3.
it up 3 or take it up to 4.
Well played by Josh.
Yeah, that's a really good line.
Yeah.
All right, that was
Cool. So Josh played pretty tight. Ian, I saw no mistakes.
no. There's
You know, blue controlling decks or just blue creature decks are really far behind against goblins, I
yeah.
feel like.
I mean, he did everything he needed to do too. Like get out an early flyer, put on a lot of pressure,
Early death rate?
early death right, halt the lackeys, right?
Yeah.
The first lackey didn't even get in there.
It's true, it got bolted.
Yeah, and the second one got taken out. Or no, the second one he actually hit.
That's right.
Right,
The second
so-
one put in Krenko, I think.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, if you just let that lackey hit.
And that was on a mold of 6, too.
Yeah.
We are really seeing the power of the Goblins deck.
And that just kind of shows you what kind of top decks the Goblins deck can have too. Like
Yeah.
Matron is insane because it gets you just anything, and like
Yeah.
Ringleader is good. Like when you can tutor for your entire deck and you just have random card engine.
Yeah, a
Cards.
tutorable Electrolyze basically is pretty dang good.
I mean, and the deck plays a lot of lands because that's a lot of mana costs. Like it plays 23 lands,
That's a lot of lands, yeah.
but he only played 5 lands in the course of the match, right?
that right?
Game 1 he only played like Mountain and Wasteland. Yeah, he only played 2 lands game 1, and he played Well, he played.
I think
he
at least
played,
4.
He played 4, but one was a fetch land he couldn't crack.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good point. So Aether Vial doing work, Lackey doing work, just
Turns
being
out
able
those-
to get through these mana costs.
Turns out those cards are really good.
Yeah. And people say Goblins could be a deck in Modern, thanks to Pile Driver. No way.
No, it needs the best cards in Goblins:
Chief is the card it's missing.
War Chief, Matron,
Lackey,
Lackey,
Ringleader.
Ringleader, Rashadan Port, and Wasteland.
Yeah, all the super important mana denial elements that allow the deck to keep, to keep a pace with all the other control decks going late.
Yeah. Yeah, so Modern would need a lot. Modern
Yeah,
Goblins
pretty
would
far
need-
off.
Like, Modern Goblins is just kind of, it feels like it just has to be like an all-in, like, quick, massive beatdown deck.
Right. That's a dynamic that we see across a lot of decks. So like, for example, Legacy Elves has this really cool combo element. It can win out of nowhere, thanks to Natural Order and Progenitus and Craterhoof, Green Sun, all that. But Modern Elves is pretty much an aggro deck, I think. Right? They have Azuri, they have Nettle Sentinel plus Heritage Druid, but it seems like it's less win out of nowhere and more you accumulate resources on board and then you overrun them.
Yeah, yeah. So it's combo in the sense that it has ways to just generate a ton of resources quickly. Like,
Yeah.
Collected Company, hitting, like, a Dwynen's Elite or something like that to just get, like, 3 power on 3 creatures on the board fast.
Okay. I guess other examples are like Tinfin's in Legacy is a Gristlebrand Reanimator deck that has some protection, but its equivalent Grizzle Shoal. The list that Bob Huang won the Premier IQ with. Congrats to him. Seems like it's just pretty much all in. Like you can power through stuff, but you can't disrupt them.
Sure, I can see that.
And another example is Storm, right? In Legacy, you have a combo deck which can actually play control because you have good discard. In fact, in a lot of sideboard matchups in the combo mirror, I board in Flusterstorms or Duresses to play a control role against other combo decks.
Yeah.
But in Modern,
I mean,
you've only got the combo.
That's how I played like the Omnitel list back when Dig Through Time was around.
Yeah, that was a
Because
cool one.
you were pondering, you were the control deck in a lot of situations, and you were just preordaining and pondering for control cards, and then once you like had a chance, you just end a turn, Dig Through Time. Oh, I combo and win.
So the control cards you were using were what? Lightning Bolts and
Force of Wills and Spell Pierces in the more combo-y version. But also I played like some splash colors sometimes, and yeah, I was playing like Bolt and like Thoughtseize is just a discard.
that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a fun deck.